Namaskar. I am Rudra Kafle from Worcester, Massachusetts. So today I am going to do a very classic experiment in this brand new episode of Physics is Fun in Facebook Live. So if you are joining new only today, I have already uploaded several episodes 1 through 6 in YouTube. So you can watch them in YouTube. Okay, so in today's class we will be doing some fun thing. So we will be doing a simple experiment using simple pendulum, and we will calculate a very famous quantity called acceleration due to gravity. So let me quickly give an idea of acceleration due to gravity. Okay, what is that? So suppose I have this eraser in my hand. Okay, eraser in my hand. It is at rest. Okay, it is at rest. So its velocity is zero. It is not moving. Okay, its displacement is zero. It is not moving. Its velocity is zero. It is not moving. Okay, so if I let it go, it falls downward. Right? So you already know, we talked about Newton's laws of motion. We talked about forces. There are 4 forces in nature. So one of the force is gravitational. One of the forces is the gravitational force. Because of the Earth's gravity, the object goes down, right? Goes down. So the object starts with initial velocity, which is 0, because it was at rest. It is not moving. What is velocity? Velocity is meters per second. That means how much distance is traveled per unit time. Okay, so it is not moving. But once I let it go, very interestingly, what happens is in every second its velocity goes up by about 10 meter per second. So to be exact, 9.81 meter per second. But it depends upon the place slightly. If you go to the north pole of the earth or the south pole of the earth, it is about 9.83 meter per second square. That is what we call the acceleration due to gravity. So every second its velocity goes up by that amount. So that quantity, 9.83 meter per second square in the north pole of the earth or the south pole of the earth, is called acceleration due to gravity at that place. If you consider the equator of the earth, which is about 9.78 meter per second square, that is the acceleration due to gravity at the equator, right? So on the average, we take 9.8 meter per second square, 9.80 meter per second square, right? That is what we call acceleration due to gravity. Let's try to understand more about that before I do the experiment, right? So what does that mean? So what is the acceleration due to gravity? Acceleration means the change of velocity divided by time. So at what rate the velocity is changing? At what rate the velocity is changing, that is acceleration. For example, suppose if you run, you start from rest, right? So what do? When you run, you speed up, right? You go faster and faster and faster. So, right? So in the distance travel per second, the distance traveled by you per second will be higher and higher. That means what happens? So the velocity is increasing. So in that case, you are what we call is you are accelerating. Consider a car. Suppose the car is in a garage, right? The car is at rest. The car is not moving. So what do? You start the car, right? You start the car and then press the gas, right? Press the accelerator. So what happens? From 0 mile per hour or 0 kilometer per hour, it starts picking up the speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, like that, right? So you can check the speedometer, the number in the dial. So what is happening there? Its velocity is increasing. It is moving faster and faster. So we call that the car is accelerating. Okay? Suppose you move a bicycle, right? Exactly the same thing happens. The bicycle initially was at rest. So when you start pedaling, what happens? The bicycle starts moving faster and faster and faster. So the bicycle will pick the velocity, right? So the velocity becomes more and more. What does that mean? You are accelerating, right? So that acceleration is caused by force. That is Newton's second law of motion. F equal to ma. Okay. So let me quickly remind you this equation. Okay. Let me quickly remind you this equation, which we did in the previous classes. Okay. Let me go to the camera mode. Okay. So do you remember? Okay. So you see this equation, F equal to ma. F equal to ma. F is the force in the left hand side. M is the mass. A is the acceleration. So that is nothing but Newton's second law of motion, right? And do you remember, I gave the arrow on top of the force because force is a vector quantity. I gave an arrow on top of acceleration because acceleration is a vector quantity. Force and acceleration both are specified completely only by two quantities. Magnitude, how much is the force and in what direction. A is the acceleration, right? It must be specified by two quantities, right? Magnitude and acceleration, magnitude and direction. So there is a remaining quantity which is mass, m, that is a scalar quantity. So for example, some kilograms, 5 kilograms or 10 kilograms, or if you consider your mass, maybe 40 kilograms. For example, if you ask me how much is my mass, maybe 70 kilograms, right? So F equal to ma. So today we are going to apply this equation. Today we are going to apply this equation, F equal to ma, right? F equal to ma in a specific situation, right? In a specific setup, in a specific physical system we call simple pendulum. Okay? So let me go to change this to the selfie mode, right? Okay, so what I have done here is, okay, so I have set up a simple pendulum here. Okay, so you the other day in my video I told you that you should have a thread, this thread, right? This is just a swing thread, right? And some object, heavy object. For example, I have a small battery here. So you can tie to the middle of this, and then you need to suspend this from some rigid support. For example, here I have suspended this object, this in a lamp stand, from a lamp stand. Okay, so here, so this I have used a 9-volt battery which is a bit heavier. So do you need exactly this kind? No. If you have some round object, small round object, that will be even better. So actually in simple pendulum in physics labs, right, you have a heavy small brass object called bob, B-O-B. Okay, and it is suspended by the hook using a very, very thin thread, string, right, and tied to some rigid support. So this support should be rigid, that means should not be moving. Okay, so this very simple experiment is done in school levels, for example in the United States, right? So when I do teacher training, actually I start from this. When I do high school teacher training here in the United States, I start with a simple pendulum. Okay, so it can be done in anywhere. It doesn't require a very high equipment, right? So you can use this very simple object, this kind of setup, right? I have used 9-volt battery and I have tied this to a string, and then I have suspended this from this lamp stand. Okay, so you can set up this experiment in your home and you can learn a lot of physics, right? This simple experiment, right, was said to be done in the scientifically, right, purposefully by Galileo Galilei, right? Once he was observing the candelabrum oscillating in a tower of Pisa, right? So it is said that he invented pendulum clock by that very simple observation. So again, I would like to repeat you the same thing with you. Please be curious, right? We are doing this very simple experiment. What else can be there? Where can we apply? Okay, so please think about this kind of question. Ask questions. Ask to your teachers. Ask these kind of questions to your teachers, to your parents, to your sisters, or to your elders, right? Okay, right? If you get the answer, be happy. Study. The most important thing is study, right? There are a lot of study materials right nowadays online. You are the luckiest people, right? Okay, now here. So let me tell you a couple of things more. So what I do is I pull this battery, which is, let me start calling now simple pendulum. Okay, simple pendulum. So let me pull this simple pendulum slightly. So this initial position is called, by the way, equilibrium position. What does that mean? Equilibrium position means it is not moving at all. Okay, this is what we also call static equilibrium. Please don't worry too much, right? But it is at rest. How many forces are acting on the subject now? Can you please think for a second? Let me give you 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so how many forces? How many forces? Can you please type in the chat box? Okay, I mean in the comment. Okay, so there are two forces here. Of course, gravity, which is vertically downward. The gravity is pulling it vertically downward. What is the other force? Right? If there were only gravity, this object would not have been sitting here. It would have gone down. But there is another force which is counterbalancing that force. Other is tension. Tension on the string. Right? The string is pulling up. Okay? So the net force is 0 here. But what I do is, when I pull this way and let it go, that condition changes. Okay? And then there comes Newton's second law of motion. The first one was, when it is at rest, sum of net force is equal to 0, and that you can consider to be the first law of motion. An object is at rest, it will remain at rest forever, unless we apply some external force. Right? So now, when I pull, the situation changes. Still there are two forces, but we need to be very careful now. So one force, gravity, is always vertically down, no matter what. Whatever way I pull, gravity is always vertically down. That is one force. And what is the other force? The other force is tension on the string. Tension is always on the string. Tension. Tension. If you already know, good. If you do not know, please write down. Tension. Tension. So another force is tension on the string. Right? Tension on the string. But in this case, tension is not vertical. It is not vertically up. Now tension is at an angle. Right? So in the last class, we talked about vectors. So see, the force is that way. So you split that force into vertical direction and horizontal direction. Right? In vertical direction like this, and the horizontal direction. Okay? So what happens? The vertical direction, this force, upward force, which we call component of that force, component of tension, that force in vertical direction will cancel the weight. Right? But there is another part of the force which pulls that way. Okay, and then what happens? Please see. And that causes the acceleration. Right? That brings the object towards that direction. And by the way, what happens here? Please watch. Okay? So it goes forward and backward like that. And this kind of motion is a very important kind of motion in our life. That is called the oscillatory motion. Please keep, close your eyes and think about oscillatory motion around us. What are the oscillatory motions around us? A very important kind of oscillatory motion is our heart, our heartbeat, right? That is one kind of oscillatory motion. What else? So any object, right? Any object, any kind of motion which is back and forth. For example, if you go to park, children's park, right? The swings, it has oscillatory motion, right? Okay. So now here, before I start doing experiment, let me tell you a couple of things more. So here, see, this pendulum is at rest. It's not moving. So what is its velocity? 0, right? It's not moving, right? Let it go. So see what happens when I release it. Its velocity increases. It goes faster and faster and faster, and then goes to the opposite side, right? So initially it was right here. So when I pull one way, so it goes down. When I release it, right, and it goes faster and faster and goes to opposite side and reaches to extreme point. At the extreme point, it will come to rest. It will come to rest instantaneously for a small amount of time. What is the velocity at the time? How much? What is the velocity? At the time it comes to rest, so the velocity is 0, right? On the other hand, interestingly, when I let the object go, right, and then comes back and forth, at the extreme point, it has force, right? It has force and it has acceleration. Let me ask you one question. You don't need to tell me answer today, right? Please, in next episode, I'll repeat that question. Please think about this. So I have an object. I have an eraser with me. You can have a ball, right, or marble or whatever around you. So if you throw the object vertically up, like this, right, like this, right, so it goes up and then it stops at certain point and then comes down. Okay, please think about a question. So at the top of its path, what is its acceleration? How much is the force on this object? What is the velocity? Okay? And one more thing, let me remind you, is distance covered and displacement, right? So when I release the object from here, it goes all the way to there and then comes back to the same point. So in that case, so it is a one cycle, that is the distance covered is one cycle. Going from here to there, you can measure by a ruler or a tape and then come back to here. But what is the displacement? That is 0. Because from here to there and then back to the same point, it is coming back to the original position. So the displacement is 0. It is not displaced. Okay. So this kind of quantities, this kind of quantities you need to be familiar with, okay, to do Newtonian mechanics. Let me repeat: distance traveled by a moving object, displacement of a moving object, velocity of an object, moving object, speed of a moving object. They are different. I believe I told you this in the last class. Okay, when you drive, for example, the number which is shown in the speedometer is speed. But if you attach a direction, I am driving 40 miles per hour towards west. That is velocity. And acceleration. Okay, acceleration is at what rate the velocity changes with time. So how fast the velocity is picked up. Okay, for example, this eraser, I am letting it go, right? So what happens? It started with 0 velocity, but it started moving faster and faster because there is acceleration. What causes acceleration? Force. What is that force? Gravitational force, which is nothing but weight of this object, right? So F equal to ma, right? We have Newton's second law of motion. F is the force, m is the mass of this guy, a is the acceleration. Okay, with this information, so let's do a very classic experiment of simple pendulum. I sincerely recommend you, suggest you, okay, please do this experiment with the help of your parents. Okay, if in the audience, if you are teachers, please help your children, help your students learn about that in a fun way, okay, so that they enjoy doing physics, they enjoy learning physics, they build up the concept. Okay, so for this, Okay, so you need, if you have already set up this, right, what do you need? Couple of things is, you need to measure the distance. You need to measure the distance from the point of support, like where the point I have tied to here, and all the way to the middle of this battery, right? So middle of the pendulum, right? So when you measure that, and that distance in my case is 70 centimeter. So please please convert that into meters. 70 divided by 100, which is 0.7 meters. Okay. So did you measure the length of your device, of your pendulum, simple pendulum? If you did, great job. If not, please don't worry. You can do next time. Okay. So if you can, if you want, you can do this experiment afterwards. Not want, please do. Right. Okay. Then what you do? Then be ready with the stopwatch. So I am using my cell phone to record the time. Okay. So what I do is, okay, there are some rules. You need to stick with the rules. Okay. Our goal, again, let me tell you, by using Newton's second law of motion, we would like to find a constant quantity called acceleration due to gravity. Okay. So by the way, it is constant on the surface of the earth. On the average, it is 9.80 meter per second square. Meter per second per second. Meter divided by second square. Okay, please don't write meter per second. That is the unit of velocity or unit of speed. Okay, so what you do is, so this is at rest position, right? So pull by certain angle, maybe 10 degrees, right, from the vertical. You don't need to measure, but just estimate in a small angle. Please don't pull too much. If you pull too much, then the results will not be correct. So there is another kind of physics there. Please don't worry. Okay, let's do this experiment, right? So what you do is, you will count 10 oscillations. 10 oscillations back and forth, and then you record the time. That's it. Okay, please count 10 oscillations. So I will be doing with you, right? So I have set it to 0. Okay, I have set it to 0. Okay, 0. Then what do I do? So so please count. Let's count together. So what I do is, I pull to a certain distance, and then I am always counting the number from this point. Okay. So what I do is, I pull it one way and let it go. Okay. By the way, please be very careful while you release this. The pendulum should not rotate. That will mess the result. That will not give you the correct result. Okay. So let me pull slightly this way and then let it go. Okay, let it go. Okay. So what I do is, I'll tell you when I start. Okay. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I got 16.70 seconds. So I got 16.70 seconds. So that is for 10 oscillations. Okay, 16.70 seconds, right? That's what I got. So let me bring my calculator, 1 second. Okay, so I got 16.70 seconds. For how many oscillations? How many back and forth? How many back and forth? 10. So I got 16.70. 16.70. I measured 16.70 seconds, right? So what do? I divide 16.70 by how much? Divide by 10. That is 1.67. That is 1.67. Okay? What I got? 1.67. That is what is called period of simple pendulum, right? If your length is different, that number will be different. In my case, it is 70 centimeter long, 70, right? So your number might be different from my number if the length is different. But if you are doing the same length, right, and Nepal, if you are in Nepal, right, so the number, the acceleration due to gravity should be about the same. So that should not make much difference. But of course, if you are watching from like Australia or Russia or somewhere in Nordic countries, right, so probably that might slightly affect the number, okay? That might slightly affect. So I got 1.67. Then what you do, that is what is called the time period, okay? Now I am not going to do all the mathematical derivation, but I would like to show you one formula, okay? So if you are a student of higher level, you might already know. But if not, then please ask your teachers or parents. In future, right? If you suggest to me to do that, okay, I will definitely do that. Let me turn my phone to camera mode. Okay, so there is a formula here I am showing you. Okay, so this formula, do you see? T is the time period. T is equal to 2 pi square root L over G. Okay, T is the time period, L is the length, G is acceleration due to gravity. Our goal is to figure that out. Okay, we want to do that. And if you do simple algebra, you can reduce that formula like this. G, acceleration due to gravity, is equal to 39.5 L over T square. How did I do that? I squared on both sides. 2 pi is 4 pi square of the 2 pi, and I removed square root when I squared both sides. So that comes to be G is equal to 39.5 times length divided by T square. Okay, now, so if you have calculator, please put L is equal to 0.7, L equal to 0.7, and T, which I have gotten time period, and I have gotten that time period to be 1.67. Okay, so please do the calculation. Okay, so please do the calculation and then put and then write the number in the comment. Okay, please do that. Okay, so now I have done the calculation of the same kind of number, right? 1.67, or we can calculate now 1.67, right? 1.67. I do square, right? And then that is in the denominator, times 39.5 times 0.7. See, I got 9.91. That's not bad. I got 9.91. And we know that acceleration due to gravity is how much? The average value on the surface of the earth is 9.8. So let's see what was our error. By what amount it was off. It was not correct. So we know 9.8 minus 9.8, right? Okay, divide by 9.8, right, times 100. Man, it is pretty good job. The percentage error was 1.16%, about 1.2%. See, this very simple experiment does a very good job. So I strongly recommend everyone, whoever is watching this experiment, all students, please set up this very simple experiment with the help of your parents, teachers, seniors, like that. And then what did I do? I did like so. That was already pretty good job. But let me show you my result when I did this yesterday by myself, right? So let me show you the result. Okay. So here, you see. So, and very interestingly, say I did multiple experiments. I did, for example, 5 readings, right? I got 5 readings, right? And then I got the value of 9.75 meter per second square, which was 0.5% off. 0.5%, right? So see, you don't need to do a very, you don't need to have a very hi-fi device to get the value of Z. Of course, right? So of course, if we have a very advanced equipment, we can do better. We can lower the error, right? We can get the more and more correct result. Okay. Now I hope this somehow helped you to understand how an idea how to measure the acceleration due to gravity. Everyone, anywhere, right, wherever we are, we don't need any science lab. See, I am in home now because of this COVID-19, and I am running all these sessions from my home using very simple equipments, whatever I have around us. Not only in this Physics is Fun program, I am also running class that way to my university because my university is closed. And then I am using those very simple equipments to run my class, my college classes, my university classes, right? Okay, so now there are some tasks for you. So I am leaving that task. So you will be doing something, you will be repeating this experiment. And please do more. What you do is, please do this experiment by changing the length. Like, so please don't rely on one single data. Do 5 or 10 experiments and calculate the value of z for each set of data, and then find acceleration due to gravity, right? That will give more correct result, right? Okay, and then what you do, please change the length. So for example, I did for 70 centimeter. Okay, you can change the length to 100 centimeter. Okay, by the way, about I believe 99.2 centimeter, you will see some very nice result, very interesting result. Please try. And also other kind of experiment, what you can do, please keep the length fixed but change the mass. For example, I have one battery here instead of one battery. So if I tie 2 batteries, I am increasing the mass. So how does that affect the value of z? Okay, that will answer question, for example, whether heavier object falls faster or the lighter object falls faster, right? Before Galileo Galilei, who did experiment from Leaning Tower of Pisa, what people used to think, heavier object falls faster than the lighter object. But you can do this kind of simple experiment and you can prove that no, all objects fall at the same rate, right? So with that, I would like to thank you so much. Thank you so much for attending this session. If you are interested, if you have missed my previous sessions, I have uploaded those in YouTube. So I am also uploading this in YouTube. So Physics is Fun from episode 1 all the way to episode 6. Now today's is episode 7. Okay. So please write your comments. Okay. Give me feedback. Right. I am trying to help you to understand the concept in physics. If this somehow helps you, that makes me feel so happy. Okay. So thank you so much. I love you. I care you. See you next time. Bye.